Live. All right, so we're going live. Okay. Keep going. There we go. All right, so you mentioned that you've been kind of getting back into the flow of things. You feel like you're ready to move forward with um, offer and your workshop and membership. So tell me a little bit about where you're at and what is it that you're excited to kind of really kick off and get working on.
Well, I joined up with 9 other guys,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore I have the accountability I've been longing for. What
Mm,
just got done with that is going to be helping the person who does the systems, and he has his. I believe what I glimpsed at it. I don't have my access to it yet, but he has basically like a Kajabi kind of
mm-hmm.
thing, and he can help people kind of build a business in a box type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So it's got a group of about 300 people and kind of do my stuff of sales and building community with him is like the
Mm-hmm.
first phase of this. But then we just kind of, okay, we've got a framework. Let's now use it for this of the 9 and this of the
Yeah.
9 and so on. So that's officially starting today.
Exciting.
Um, It is. It is. But yeah, specifically, my product is easier sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
The unchurched thing is basically going to be, not a profit center at all.
Mm-hmm.
Community. I think I mentioned the pricing like $7 a month is what I'm thinking, or
Mm-hmm.
like $97 lifetime access.
Mm-hmm.
And the money for that can initially can go for paying for ad traffic and such.
Right.
As the group grows, it'll be able to pay
Mm-hmm.
for admin staff and such.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really designed as a profit center, so it's not a business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and even easier sobriety, really framing it up. It needs to be sustainable,
Right.
but it's just really my financial goal is to be able to make enough money that I can have a lifestyle that I want.
Right.
It
Mm-hmm.
was like the latest epiphany was it's like, yeah, I've spent so much time. I think I might have shared with you the guy I was selling for. He was making $600,000-$800,000 a month, new business. Okay, now
Wow.
apples and oranges, he spends a lot of money on ads
Mm-hmm.
and there's a direct return on investment for his program and all this kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Total apples and oranges. But then also being in all these other groups and stuff like that. Again, it's just big numbers.
Yeah.
And hey, I'm only human. I'd be nice to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I could do it and all that kind of stuff. Um, but it was just like, no, really all I want to do is just help people and make
Mm-hmm.
enough money to take care of myself, my wife. Um, it's just again the whole dream of swimming pools and movie stars and private jet airplanes and stuff
Mm-hmm.
isn't for me. And again, this is kind of in alignment with having people with matched values and stuff.
Yeah.
So just, I don't know, it's just kind of internalize that a little bit more. It's not just a
Mm-hmm.
nice idea. This is part of my conviction.
Yeah.
And so even easier sobriety, I want to make money, but it's as much as I say that's the business part of it, I don't have the dream of making the big bucks like a lot of these guys, encourage and promise and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, back to unchurched, and again, as I've talked before, it's a community to help people get ready for their next phase of their life.
Mm-hmm.
The existential crisis thing, and the way I've been kind of marketing and bringing it up is talking about, people that are, going through a major life transition. To me, I think that's a more easier to understand way than talking about midlife crisis or existential crisis or anything like that. It's like, no, I'm going through a major transition in life. And yes, I know that specifics help, but in regards to this community, yeah, there could be somebody that's going through, I don't know, a divorce, a bankruptcy, or whatever. And again, my specialization is addiction, which again is a major life transition.
Yeah.
So that's, again, just a community of helping people. And again, the first 100 will be really important for setting the tone of it. Doesn't mean all 100 are going through a major life transition, but we're clear on the mission, what we're going to do. Out of those, yeah, in the intention of, lack of a better term, 12, just because the disciple would be like 10% of them, call them 10 then.
Yeah.
10 people are like the core that are like, yeah, I love this, I'm all in. I will give you 10, 15, 20 hours a week of my time. I totally want to build this thing. And then we figure out exactly how that works. But again, it's because Unchurch isn't really a profit center. Nobody's doing it for direct compensation for that. They just believe in the mission, want to help. But it does, again, having the possibility of many different types of details in the life transition. There could be the person who specializes in helping people with divorce or bankruptcy, whatever it may be, that can lead people into a program like my Unchurch. Now, or excuse me, my Easier Sobriety. Now, Easier Sobriety, of course, when I talk about the principles of recovery and stuff, community is huge part of it. And I don't want a community of people that are addicts and alcoholics per se. Okay. That's going to actually be one of the selling points of, no, you're a human, you're not an addict. Okay. And if you're saying you're a Christian, well, that's cool. I mean, everybody should believe in something, even if you say there is no God. That's a belief system and stuff. But can we really have as the meeting point is we're all humans? When I was walking the dog this morning and stuff, I would actually identify as a humanist who is a disciple of Christ's teachings. I feel that's much more comfortable if I'm going to have to proclaim my spiritual beliefs. So do you believe this and that and this stuff? And of course, whatever the question is, I can agree, disagree, elaborate and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel, again, personally, I feel much more comfortable with saying I'm a humanist. And which, again, a lot of people will say that you don't believe in a God. No, I didn't say that per se. I'm much more dynamic than all this kind of stuff. So again, it's like the church thing is why I bring that up, which also I think can help in an aspect of Unchurch of, I think we've talked about this before, of healing people that have gone through a spiritual crisis, which again may have resulted in addictions. Okay. My whole world was about the church. Again, I think we've talked about this, and now it's not. My whole world is shattered, and I was looking for something, and this seemed to be the way that I could find happiness and joy. And now I'm realizing, well, this is causing consequences I'm not real happy about, kind of stuff, and I don't know what to do. And certainly, again, major life transition is leaving the church, kind of thing. We'll kind of see how that develops. And the only reason why I bring that up is because when I launched Unchurch and stuff, there was a lot of DMs where people mention that type of stuff, healing from leaving the church.
Yeah.
And I don't know of something like that now. There may be, again, I hope there is, and such, but from it being from personal experience of having a place where you can talk about it and maybe go through the framework of recovery over this one issue, which again is to my understanding of an existential crisis of who am I? What am I here on earth for? What's the meaning of life kind of questions? Now that you're basically your worldview now has cracks in it, if not totally been demolished, those questions are inevitable. And to one, just let people know that you're not alone, and two, that well, guess what, this is probably pretty normal. What do you mean by that? Well, at least everybody in here and stuff have gone through times when the first half of life, everything they were building upon got broken up, and some people, totally annihilated and stuff, and had the same types of questions and stuff. And all in all, it worked out. They can see in hindsight now that this was a really good, healthy thing. And you want to know a secret? It's going to probably happen again. And when it does, you're not alone either. So this is also kind of part of like the people that say, I've gone through all this stuff and I came out ahead. You want to hear the dirty little secret? It's going to happen to you again. Everything you believe right now, it's going to be challenged. And when it comes to the point where it becomes really uncomfortable for you and your modus operandi ain't going to work for you this time, guess what? You're not alone. We're here for you. And the general promise, kind of like with this other group with entrepreneurs, our pitch, our avatar is going to be basically people that have tried to start a business and it failed. Okay. So the promise of the community is like, look, I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to fix all your problems, but I can guarantee you don't have to go through this alone.
Right.
So it's a small, realistic belief, because again, if you bought into some guy's program and you got burned, it's like, no, I ain't promising you all that stuff this time. But collectively, what we can do is we can talk about common problems and common solutions, and together as a community, you're going to be able to determine, one, if this is something you really want to do. Maybe it is a good idea to go back to working in the corporate 9 to 5 and stuff. And why I'm bringing that up again, similar in this situation and stuff. Maybe it might be the right idea to go back to church. What do you mean by that? Well, and I have this in that thing when I was evangelizing. It's like, look, you go out for dinner and you have a bad meal. Do you give up entirely on going out to dinner? You just don't go back to that. You don't go back to that restaurant, okay?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. If there's part of you that still is longing for everything in church, but just because the betrayal was so bad, so hurtful, nobody in their right mind would go back to that abuse, okay? I totally see what you're getting at and why you did what you did. But also, I'd like you to kind of be a little more objective and go, if you could have all the things that you desired and none of or very little of the stuff that you don't, would you consider going back to church? Oh, yeah, I probably would. Okay. Now you know that. And again, I can't do the work for you, but you know this now. Okay. And again, just having a community of that kind of stuff of like, you know what? It seems so simple now, but my God, it was just like an epiphany. Just try a different church. Having those kind of things going in a community where, again, people are just going through life and they don't have to go through it alone. Is the general vibe of it. And I know I kind of just rambled. Some of it's the coffee. Some of it's just demonstrating my passion for this. Absolutely. I need this. And I know, again, there's people with the DMs. There's others that need this. And again, what I want you to do is not the first 100 for easier sobriety. Again, so the easier sobriety, again, they have the community, people are just coming into what I've described here, that instead of like talking about AA stuff, of like, I went to my first AA meeting in Las Vegas yesterday, and it's the common garden variety problems. Like, it took me a year before I ever wanted to go out and see a show because there was alcohol there. Okay. And it's appropriate. Okay. These things are, but life is so much more than not drinking. And going into a group that everything you're discussing and you're celebrating is just around the drink, to me seems rather one-dimensional. And I could be wrong, but again, since I'm creating it, I get to say to come into the community that I just was describing. You come into it and stuff, and whatever their major life transition is that just happens to involve getting high all the time as a coping mechanism, help them realize that drinking or drugs was just a symptom of their problems.
Hmm.
So that's, again, it'll be part of like the bonus of it and stuff. Um, Fortunately, I know of the 440 some members that are in unchurched, there's a lot of recovery people as well too. So, kind of with them, as I get to know them one-on-one, it's like, look, how would you feel about bringing the principles of recovery to a person that has no interest in AA? What do you
Hmm.
mean? Because it's not, well, it's not going to be a bubble. It's not going to be group speak. It's going to be much more dynamic involved here. Um, it's basically helping people that could benefit from all your experience in the bubble and
Hmm.
stuff. So it's going to be new. It's going to be exciting. But we follow timeless, self-evident truths and stuff. Again, when I talk about
Hmm.
principles, honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, that seems back to, again, garden variety recovery stuff. Frankly, it was again, epiphany, revolutionary stuff when I was first introduced to it.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, honesty is the best policy. Okay, are you honest with yourself? Oh, what do you mean by that? Are you denying? Are you rationalizing, justifying?
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody do that? Well, that sounds like you're justifying right there, Randy. And the question wasn't about everybody, it was about you. Oh,
Hmm.
shit. Those little, again, you have your story
Hmm.
again for recovery in there, but bringing to an audience, the people, again, these simple types of things um, are not commonly presented and discussed. So,
Hmm.
so again, you helping me get the first 100 people that resonate, not how you're nodding your head and how you want to build on this project.
Hmm.
I want to do that,
Mm.
and I'll shut up. Ideas, comments, suggestions?
Yeah. So the last time we talked, what I remember that we discussed that I feel like you kind of lit up when we had our last discussion. It was actually during the coachathon, and I think you used the words something to the effect of like, of all the calls we've been on, this has been the most productive, or something to that extent. And in that call, I had just outlined literally what I heard you say and kind of repeated it back to you. But the idea of how you were framing your easier sobriety program is helping people establish and find their new identity, um, to align with serenity, and to have um, an inspection of their integrity.
Well, yeah, the three phases: identity, integrity,
Hmm.
and serenity.
So I just wanted to explore this for a minute. Does that still feel accurate to kind of the direction that you're going with um, your workshop or your easier sobriety program?
Yes, absolutely.
And based on what you're thinking with the unchurched membership, does it feel like this model on kind of a macro level still applies and like dovetails with what you're doing?
Yes.
So,
Again, there has to be that continuity in it. So
right.
again, people are
Mm-hmm.
coming from easier sobriety into this, even though
Mm-hmm.
there's a variety of people that they can align with and find
Mm-hmm.
mentors, hopefully.
Right.
It it can't be two different paradigms.
Uh-huh.
So yes,
Yeah. Okay. So this is the model then. This is the master framework that of the stuff that you're working on.
yes.
So this is kind of what I want to work from. I'll show you why I want to kind of dive into this. Let me share. share my screen here. Uh, Share. Let's do the whole thing. Okay. So this is something that I've been working on for my own clients and in the program that I've been developing. Um, so in order to run a Facebook group in 5 minutes a day, and in order to have a consistent marketing message, like you have to build out some assets and be able to know exactly what's going to go in those things in order to start building a community that markets for you, that talks about your program, that talks about the outcomes that you do. But what one of the key ideas is you have to have a sexy story, which what I mean specifically by a sexy story in my model is it has to communicate the value of what you do. So like it's super clear what the outcome is that people are getting. If you think in terms of productizing information, it's like what is it that I actually get? What product am I buying? So it might be like with our product is to help you remove overwhelm. It's like, well, I'd love to be able to run my business and not be stressed anymore. I just can run it and it gets clients and it's like it's finally not a drag to run a business. That's that's what you get when you work with us. And so having a sexy story where the outcome's super clear, having it simple enough that people repeat and share the story, so it's a great story. They want to reshare it. The community that it resonates with, they tell it to other people, and that gets new people interested in coming in. And then it has to have like a strong call to action. So if it does attract somebody, if it's something that somebody shared with them, their immediate thought is, well, what's my next step? What am I inviting them to do? Am I pulling you into my community? Am I inviting you to go to my website? Am I saying get on a call and I will get you hooked up right now? What is the action that they need to know? Like, how do I go further? So that's kind of what a sexy story is. And so what I think we should start doing is thinking of, and you've told me plenty of times, like bits and pieces of your story. So I feel like it's there, like the sexy story that communicates the outcome of what you're like helping people pinpoint. Here's my new identity. It's this. And so for Unchurched, what is the membership really designed around helping them clarify? The new version of me is maybe somebody who doesn't feel like somebody who feels free, that doesn't feel like I'm identifying with the victim mentality anymore.
Yes.
And you're moving more towards, oh, I get to be my own person and like set my own destiny, that sort of thing. So then how do we
Exactly. And I've seen tons of responses to those types of ads,
mm-hmm,
or excuse me, the posts.
mm-hmm.
Those get probably the strongest engagement. So that you're
Oh,
right on.
I saw a commercial the other day. That's literally it was for perfume of all things, but it was like the perfume is called something like uh Manifest Destiny or some sort of thing like that. But the perfume was being sold um under the feeling of be your own person and like create your own future, create your own destiny. And so they had it packaged in this sort of like crystal ball type like looking thing, and it was like that's exactly what they're selling. Is help people feel like, oh, I'm back in control. Like I don't need to live this story where somebody hurt me. Yeah, like I had this painful experience, but like I can address that, acknowledge it, heal it, and move past it and not be under that like umbrella anymore. So
Yes.
I think you're absolutely on the money with that. That's what so many people need. And then the how, this is the part it's like, all right, so what are we giving you that helps you become that? So in this model, like the unchurched community would be like, hey, a paid membership where you are full of a bunch of people who are moving that direction, and then you get a ton of support from people who understand your struggle, who want to see you win. Like that's how we're going to help you align to that thing. It's like until you know exactly what your story is and what the steps on your journey are, you're going to get in a group with other people who will help kind of carry you until you figure out, it's like, oh, now these are my exact, like, this is how I did it for me. It's like nobody can tell you the exact method, but a lot of people have great strategies, great ideas, great frameworks, and sometimes seeing what other people are doing will help you learn that. So, and then the inspection of integrity is like, all right, so what are some of the actions? What are the things that I personally need to do that nobody, I can't delegate to anybody else? I can't depend on the community to pull me forward for some things. It's like if I say, okay, I am a terrible person when I drink, so that means I need to stop drinking. I can't expect that my community is going to like take the bottle out of my hands. Like there's some level of what do I need to do in my life to make the kind of person that I want to be, which is somebody who doesn't drink, a reality. So maybe that means I need to stop shopping at the grocery store that has a huge alcohol section. Maybe that means I need to let everybody know that um, they can check up on me in the afternoons when I'm getting ready to come home from work. Like whatever that thing is for you, you got to start figuring out what is my integrity checkpoints that I need to do that I can't really outsource to anybody. And so like if you could start communicating that in terms of a story, in terms of a method, and so like something like this that we have like for marketing purposes, I'll show you what I did for Leslie. Let me back up. Same thing. It's using this framework, which is like what are the main things that you're helping people with. And so then this is Leslie Schreiner. I don't know if you have connected with her personally, but she's a consultant that has she's been breeding show dogs for a long time and working with people who have top quality dogs go, and she goes to like all the big like national dog shows. And she said, hey, I just feel like there's so much stuff that I do, I don't know how to say it in a concise way. So we narrowed things down into containers where it's like, okay, the things that people ask for most of the time for are, I want a puppy. Like, how do I know what kind of dog to get? Is it okay to buy an expensive dog? Can you get a cheap dog? Like, what are the beginning things that people want to know when they get a puppy? So it's like, we'll answer all your puppy questions. Here's how to care for your puppy once you start get it trained, those sorts of things. And then why she has a grooming business. So she specifically wanted to position with marketing her grooming business as a very specific needed thing. And so for the kinds of people she helps, if you want a purebred dog, often the breeders won't consider you as a customer if you don't commit to showing your dog. Like high-end purebred dogs, like part of the prestige of having a dog that has a pedigree is the lines are very carefully hand selected, and they're trying to breed for the best qualities that exemplify that breed. And so you can't go to a breeder who cares about the breed and say, hey, I want one of your expensive puppies, and not expect that you're either going to have to learn how to show it at least to the very bare minimum level to get it finished as a champion, or hire somebody to do it for you. Like you're immediately disqualifying yourself from buying some of the best quality dogs if you don't have that in mind. You're not thinking that that's probably something you're going to do with your dog. So like that's one of the things she talks with people about is like if you want a really high quality puppy, like even just as a pet, you're gonna have to take it to a minimum amount of shows probably if you want a good quality breeder to consider you as somebody for their puppies. And so she shows you how to train them, and like taking them to PetSmart to get them groomed means they're going to learn a bunch of bad habits before they actually get to an age where they can be shown. And so, like, that's bad for the dog if you want it to finish, if you want it to have a pedigree, if you want it to be certified and be like a top quality dog. There's a reason you would get somebody like her to groom your dog as opposed to just somebody who's going to cut their hair and keep them clean. It's a different kind of service. And so, like, we found ways to articulate in her language that she uses for her market. And so then it's like she has a really simple, clear way of communicating to people. It's like, if you need help with puppies, I'll tell you about puppies. If you need help with older dogs, that's also somebody that is really specialized in helping with. And then if you're in the dog show business, if you're like a professional dog shower, like that's something I know a ton about. And then like her bio underneath here, this is part of like a half page bio. Um, and so like having something like this, do you think if we built out a graphic for you that has been really well constructed and thought out in terms of like highlighting what this model does and why your membership might fit for somebody who's looking to craft and uh, uh, acquire a new identity and like find a way to align to serenity and have it embody more integrity, then you can start talking about like, well, why might a membership be something that could help support you right now? Or why might a workshop on easier sobriety might help you in that model? Or if you just want to talk to me because you feel comfortable with me and my posts, like here's what my high-end coaching program that's like, if you just want to have a private conversation where you're not worried about other people judging you or thinking about you, it's like, here's what my personal time costs to do that. And so does that make sense? Like
Mhm.
maybe constructing something like this over a couple
Mhm.
of calls, and then I
Absolutely.
feel, and then I feel like this gives you kind of a home base to sort of pitch from, and like anytime you get on and create content, now it's from, well, in my model, in the way that I help people, and the reason I put this community together, the reason I teach my workshop, the reason I have a coaching program is because I want to help people become the person they're trying to become. I want to help people like find like how in the world can I achieve serenity? Because that's what we want is peace of mind, a soul that isn't hurting, but how? And often doing it with other people is the solution. Like if you want me, like here's how that looks. But then you have to do some work. Like what is that work? And you kind of have to figure that out for yourself, but you can figure it out a lot faster under some of my frameworks. You can come to my workshop. That's a great place to do it. You can come to our math. Our membership is a very, very inexpensive way to get around other people who this is important to them. So then it gives you language. It gives you language that you can use again and again and again. It's repeatable. But then what it also does is it creates language for your community. So that's how they're talking and synchronizing. It creates alignment. That's what we want is we want your community beginning to use this language so that when somebody else comes into unchurch, it's like, hey, I'm new to unchurch, my friend invited me, what is this about? Oh man, I love this place because I came from church, I was hurt, but this place has helped me heal. Like that's the story is so many people here have stories of being hurt and getting better. And it's because of this community. They helped me align to find my personal serenity. And so then we start indoctrinating like, what is the language? What is the system? What is the process that people can expect? And so, anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. That's sort of what I'm doing with people. And so what I'm pitching or what I'm wanting to bounce off of you is, do you feel like if we structured our calls over the next couple of weeks specifically towards let's build you something like this, like start with a one pager like this that's a great foundation, but then like all of your marketing content can kind of waterfall from that thing, and then like if you know a specific um, problem that your community is trying to address, like you can address it under that framework, under that model. You'll have visuals that you can point to over and over. And I feel like having stuff like this just crystallizes the idea for people. And so
Mhm.
then it becomes real easy to say, hey, so for $7 a month, like you could be in a group that will help you with alignment to serenity.
Mhm.
Like that would be a great easy pitch, and then you can have those sorts of things pinned in your group. Like you're already fantastic. I mean, our thing about like helping create people run Facebook groups, you already have most of this stuff down. Like you already consistently post stuff. Like we have stress, we promise that we'll help people run it in 5 minutes a day. You already have your own rhythms and stuff that you've established to continually create connection, conversation. So now all it just needs is like, what is that message that needs to be consistent? So what's the metronome that's kind of driving everything? And it feels like there's a great overwhelming feeling of that people are attracted to, but it hasn't been clarified at like a conscious level for people. And so that's kind of where my gut feels like is if we could put it into a container and into some specific language that you can reuse again and again, and then gives the community language for that, then it seems to make a lot more sense why, oh yeah, I would totally pay for that. Oh yes, like a concrete, this is what I'm gonna get out of attending workshop. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. And I it's so funny. I'm so glad we're working together because we're so in alignment. But yeah, the phases is a big part of wanting it to be, again, why I broke down like the identity, integrity, serenity kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Yeah, the first thing is identity.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see yourself 5 years from now? Kind of question. I know it kind of sounds
Mm-hmm.
corny. It's what interviewers say and all this kind of stuff, but really, truly, again,
Yeah.
let's look at your values. We can have a workshop. Get to what's important to you. What would you be really happy being
Mm-hmm.
this person in 5 years? Okay, and then the question is, after you've gone through, it's like, do you love that lifestyle, that person? That's
Mm-hmm.
again. So this is your new. It's
Mm-hmm.
all that other stuff of professional and personal and all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
is radiates out of this state of being kind of
Yeah.
things. Yeah, I love it. Okay, it's like this is real important because as you go through these challenges, going through this progress,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have times when you want to give up.
Mm-hmm.
Simple truth. Have you ever like been on a course and you gave up? Of course they did, and stuff. Well,
Yeah.
you can reflect and stuff. And as I've said before, the thing about this empowerment of the freedom and stuff is when it comes down to it, yeah, you have the accountability and all this kind of stuff, but no one else
Mm-hmm.
is responsible for the quality of life but you. Okay, so you
Mm-hmm.
need to have self-observation. You need to have self-inquiry. That's why the questions I said, I want to be known as a guy who comes up with good questions. So
Yeah.
intuitively, I've seen you ask so many questions that have made me have aha moments. Well, imagine what it's going to be like in the paid community.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the identity of getting a better idea of who you are and where you want to go. And then the integrity phase is like, well, where am I in alignment and where am I not? And what do I need to do? And there's a process. This will be kind of more of a core program or
Mm-hmm.
a signature program of the great reevaluation.
Mm-hmm.
And again, which it's back to what I just described. The
Right.
serenity again is like once you are comfortable in your own skin and you know your own self, you can practice self-leadership. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be independent as well as being interdependent. What does that mean by
Yeah.
that? Well, you're your own person, but you're aligned with people that have similar values. And again, you're doing your own thing and they're doing their own thing, but there's close enough aligned. You can do it together and life doesn't have to be so hard, kind of thing. So that, and well, so another way that came to me was growth, which that everything I've just laid out is growth. Then there's gratitude. So now this is kind of the whole cycle I just laid out of being
Mm-hmm.
of service. How would you like to take people through this yourself? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and again, it's very much like the AA pay it forward and stuff, except that guess what? How
Yeah.
would you like to get paid while you did it too?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a standard of excellence you got to go through, and we can have that involved. We can figure out how they go through it. But again, we want continuity through this as well. We want accountability. They're doing that's where you're getting paid instead of volunteers. Okay, here's the problem with AA: people, no one's
Yeah.
formally trained, and nobody again is got to basically perform to the standards of being paid. If you pay X number of dollars and stuff, you expect something in return. There's
Mm-hmm.
certainly a lack of professionalism involved in stuff. So, again, I don't need to go down that rabbit trail. You're on your head and stuff. But then, okay, that's what I'm getting at is a big long-term, like multiple year involvement with this type of stuff.
Right.
So the integrity, okay. So yeah, so you went through growth, gratitude, okay. And then the third is giving, which is very similar to what, again, the gratitude type of thing is, as I kind of stepped over, but how do I give? How do I pay it forward? And I do this non-transactionally. I do it transformationally. And again, you and I are on the same page. Again, this is, yeah, okay, it's a fair exchange about stuff, but it's all about the transformation. And here's this little, again, want to hear a secret? It's as much for you as it is for them. And I believe with the avatar, there's people that have had enough experience. Like, yeah, man, I don't think I could have ever had the gifts if I wasn't being of service. Yeah. Wouldn't you like to do this like 20, 30, 40 hours a week? Oh yeah, but what? You know, I'm doing it. If I can do it, you can surely do it as well too. And in all frankness, I'll share with you basically all the stuff I did wrong as well I did right. I can fast track you on it, kind of stuff. Would that be, again, would you be interested? So that's kind of, again, that's like third level phase as well. So
yeah,
what you've got labeled, why I'm sharing this with you, yeah, it works in, again, the 9 bullet points over the 3 phases can work in so many different areas of what I want to do. Again, it's churches, recovery groups, there's people, again, that stay for life.
Yeah.
You know, been doing this for 20, 30 years. It's because, and I had borrowed a meme from somebody there, but it's the difference between belonging and, I forget what the 2 things were. Where was it? It's on my phone. It's important enough. I'm going to pause and look it up. Fitting in and belonging. So this is, again, another, I think, key message and stuff. Is fitting in is becoming who you think you need to be in order to be accepted. Belonging is being your authentic self and knowing that no matter what happens, you belong to you. And it's credited to Brene Brown. So again, one I can go is like, look, I didn't make this stuff up. Brene Brown, read her book. She's awesome and all this kind of stuff. Highly recommended. But if this message resonates with you, then you're very likely going to dig what Unchurch is about. And do you see how that fits in what we were talking about, the 3 phases? Like, but I think I'm being authentic and stuff. Okay, well, here's the litmus test. Do you know that no matter what happens, you belong to you? Oh, I hope so. Okay, see, right, again, just myself of like talking about rigorous honesty. Oh, that sounds like you don't know. You don't really have that level of confidence, and that's perfectly okay. Everybody has that phase of development and such. And just, again, $7 a month. My gosh, what's $7? McDonald's?
Cheaper than Netflix.
Yeah, half of Netflix, whatever, however we're going to do. It's like going, you've been part of this community and such. But if it already, you say you got me at belonging, well, great, just $97, you're locked in forever. And again, this is kind of the stuff like with Brian Campbell about talking about, over the course of time, it's going to go. Like the pricing I'm talking about right now is the first 100 members, okay, building this and such. There's going to be a point where there's enough value that it's appropriate that lifetime membership is $300. And it's still going to be an incredible value for $300 for life, or $30 a month, or however the pricing levels is and stuff. So it's creating some kind of urgency of it. But yeah, if you join now, you'll be locked in at this founders level pricing type of stuff. So again, going on and on. I want this to have longevity. And again, the part of the whole thing, what do you charge it? Kind of stuff. Well, if you want to do it for free, you can be in the Facebook group. Okay. You want to pay. If you can't pay, honestly, we can get into it and stuff why I do it. But really, that's why we put the prices so low. So price shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. And here's where I would talk about it in like a marketing context, or like, you would come from a sales background, so you would understand like kind of the objections, or like the explaining what's the value of it. So it's like, okay, if you're at the free level, it's like you just need to establish like, where am I even going? So that's what this, your attitude of gratitude, unchurched, like you get clear on who is it that I'm trying to become, and that doesn't cost anything. Like you can be in the free Facebook group. That's what people are establishing. Here's what these two communities really are all about. This is kind of the core umbrella that everybody falls under these categories. And so like as long as you're still in that stage where you're kind of nailing that down for yourself, it's like, yeah, you don't have to you don't have to pay for that if you're not ready for that. It's like if you want to accelerate alignment. So if you have a sense that, yeah, this is an identity that I'm taking on. It's like I want to heal from the pain that I've experienced in church. I want to become somebody who has control of my own choices in sobriety. It's like, well, okay, if I know that those are the identities that I want, then this is going to be the fast track. So I need to get around other people who that's the priority for them, and that's who they're becoming. If you need to like have somebody hold your hand and say, okay, what's my steps? Let's build that plan for me. We want to work with somebody who's done that, somebody who's created communities where that's exactly what people are experiencing. Who better to go to than you? It's like if you just need somebody to make sure that you're going to do it, it's like there's ways that you can do this this program in a much more focused way, even like in a group, um, uh, like a one-to-many coaching program or like a one-on-one sessions. So that's like this would be kind of the entry level into the communities,
Yep.
and maybe they get introduced through your workshop. That could be a way that they do it.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then here's your paid communities, and then this is like paid programs, or or like consulting, coaching, those
Yeah.
sorts of
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. There's a
things. So
value ladder involved with it as well,
yeah, and
kind of stuff.
yeah,
So it's basically just as I've said before, I'm pretty darn sure I said this to you, is getting ready to get ready is the community.
hmm
It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know this is a safe place, and I like being
hmm
here. Okay.
hmm
Yeah. Yeah. I trust that this is the right choice to move
yeah,
forward. The know, like, and trust thing. And
hmm
again, it's just the unchurched thing is really, again, it's meant just to be able to, almost like it's the waiting room, it's
hmm
the entranceway and stuff. And sure, it's paid membership and stuff, but you're still really kind of just dabbling with it, is what the
hmm
intention of that. And again, I could
right,
have on the calendar and stuff, hey, look, there's like 4 workshops every month on these things and stuff
hmm
included in your membership. Again, part of the whole value ladder and stuff of leading people
hmm
into add-on, lack of a better term, the add-ons and such. It's like, no,
hmm
I really want this result. Okay,
yeah,
it's possible, but it's not included in your $7 a month. What?
hmm
What a chip? And I'm like, dude, it's $7 a month, man.
hmm
And we were up front. This is just to keep the lights on, $7 a month.
hmm
Okay. And it was just showed that again, everybody involved with here recognizes enough value to give $7. That's
hmm
kind of like our cover charge to get in here. So you're not in with a bunch of people that don't want to be here. But
yeah,
if you want advanced learning,
hmm
it is an additional cost. And if that's a problem with you, I'm sorry. Again, we'll keep providing with you everything that you're getting for $7,
hmm
you know. And I think that what I'm getting at that is that can kind of be the vetting process as well too. Um,
yeah,
I might even have a whole workshop. It's like, I'm going, look, if you're resentful because we charge for these upscale programs and stuff,
hmm
how to let go of unrealistic expectations.
hmm
Oh, it's just to cover your ass. Well, I guess it is to kind of cover my ass. Again, there's a problem here and stuff. But the other thing is everything in this group is about taking it out into your three-dimensional life. This is cyberspace, two-dimensional life.
Yeah.
No, let's bring it into real life. Do you have unrealistic expectations in the workplace, in your household, your romantic relationships? This workshop can help you with that. And that's for free, dude. Oh, okay. Yeah. So again, they get enough, the whole thing, and they get enough value that they've concluded that they go to the next level, they're going to 10x it and stuff. And then we deliver. But anyway, back to you and I, because again, we've been talking for about an hour here and stuff. Next steps for us, I would like to generate something like that. Obviously there's been some payment already to you. Would this be included in the $1,000 I already paid you?
So yes, what I'd like to do is over the next 2 or 3 calls or so, I'll just ask the questions that I need to ask to build that for you. And so then my thought is, in having something concrete like that, that gives us a platform to actually begin marketing. And then I can organize, we can set up a few calls that you feel like, all right, this actually helps me build out what I need for my marketing system. And in terms of like actually getting the first 100 members in, it's like we can nail down like what do we feel like constitutes fulfillment of that, and kind of hash those details out. Like I was never under the impression that you're expecting me to go out and like invite 100 people, but but I just want to make sure that like everybody feels like we're on the same page, everybody feels like it's fair. But I feel like this will get us a big step towards like, okay, in terms of having what you need to actually make that a goal a reality, this gets us a big chunk of the way there. And now that you've kind of organized a lot of those thoughts, then we have the bulk of the raw material available. Like, let's start crystallizing that into something that will actually start doing that job. You can start sounding that call, and the people who it's right for will start coming in.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and as I mentioned to you, I've been, going through and doing these voice messages. Hey, thank you for accepting the invitation, joining Unchurch.
Yeah.
Probably all you know about this is the tagline, unconditional love, with no dogma, deity, or doctrine and stuff. And well, I came up with it. I think it's good, but I don't know if anything's to associate that with. So I just wanted to let you know a little bit more about the group. And then I elaborate that in a voice message. And, I haven't done a ton of them, and I haven't gotten a ton of responses, but everyone who has responded has been like really positive. Fuck yeah, this is great. I'm in kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So again, there's just a numbers game. And of course it's all new, so I don't have a baseline with this stuff, but out of 400 some people, it'll probably be 450 before the end of the month. If we can get, out of that, 10% of these people is half of the goal right there of what we've got right now. And then it's the whole kind of referral thing. It's like, okay, you're the first 45. Do you got a friend that would dig this?
Yeah.
You probably will. So I think it's very realistic, that timeline we were talking about before, about 90 days of hitting that objective of 100 members. And it's not just filling the seats, it's the right 100 people. Because from there, so this is the thing I really see distinguishing it is, we're selling something that people could model it, but you can't create a community. That is, again, that's multiplied. There's in 100 different snowflakes in there. Everybody's unique, and all of them we're all snowflakes. We're all snow, but we're unique and we're different. And you can't just go take a $2,000 course and stuff and model this, and here's your, you might know how to build it, like what you're helping me do and others, but there's something special about this. And whatever it is of other, because why I'm bringing this up is there's always going to be comparison, which is good. And competition is good, and all this kind of stuff keeps us striving to, because my intention is to be absolutely the best this possibly can be which eventually could be recognized by some members as the very best thing they've ever been involved with, community support groups, whatever their reference is. Yeah, I don't want this to be good. my intention is to be great. And that was kind of the thing. Is, you may remember the fire I had before, and I just had to reconnect with that part of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of inner work. You may know Joey Costa from, so Joey cleared some energy with me and such. But yeah, and I know personally myself, why I went to an AA meeting is I know I need in real 3-dimension, I need at least, a couple people that I can meet with face to face. And this is where I thought Jess could help me. But I recognize, again, me, how to say, being blind to some of the other things that aren't conductive with everything. Again, it was just this great need about myself. And it comes to childhood development kind of stuff. So again, inner child, been doing inner child work and stuff. I'm going to my 40th class reunion next month.
Wow.
And that will be something. But there's one of the key things, 2 guys that bullied me growing up are going to be there. The organizers. So I know one guy bullied me from elementary school on, another guy that was like junior high school and stuff. And I don't expect an apology nor confrontation. I got to speak. Just being in the room, I want to just kind of go to my younger version and go, see, everything I've been having this kind of internal, I was like, see, Randy, everything that you were worried about, everything you wanted has come and more. You're okay. Again, it's not that you just, again, when you felt unsafe and such, that you're okay. And then like my younger self is reminding me of who I was before life events affected me and kind of went through the betrayals and the heartbreaks and all that kind of stuff that creates the fear. So it, of course, took a lot longer than envisioned, but I didn't really envision how this stuff was with me. And part of the reason why I share this with you as well, this will be part of the messaging and such for the group. I think you can see how this is the kind of thing to get people towards being in a state of self-leadership. It's like, hey, look, if you've got something going on and you can't figure it out, well, this is what worked for me. And I can introduce them to Joey, is one example. She helped me out greatly, going from a guy who needed something and didn't know what it was. And if you're somebody who you just know, it's like, yeah, I can't do this alone, I need something and stuff, then maybe she can help you, or Erin can help you with your business and all this kind of stuff. So now that I'm not overwhelmed and confused and such, I have more hope about everything and can get into action. But also I can frame it up as that, and again, because I'd gone through enough of those kind of moments throughout my recovery and stuff, that I knew that eventually this too shall pass kind of thing. But yeah, I'm 100% committed. I'm all in. Like I said, touched on 5 minutes ago, I don't want this just to be a good community. This is going to be a great community that eventually people will have the same passion I do, but in their own unique way. Again, so this is the best thing, and I want to share this with everybody I know, kind of thing, which is, again, very much like my story with religion and with recovery and stuff. I know when people take on that, again, I belong, and like that thing was like there. Once they really belong to this, then it's going to take far. And that's why, again, why the right one, you probably already know this, but I want to let you know I know it, is that's why this first 100 is critical, because this is going to set the tone for everything I'm talking about. But there's a high probability, again, how I've been reaching out, wanting to have the personal touch. And you've helped me indirectly knowing that, again, the engagement in the post, but also engaging in the DMs, scheduling calls and stuff. The podcasts are kind of designed of that as well too.
Mhm.
beginning relationships with people.
Yeah.
This last podcast I did with, and I got to get these things posted up. And I believe why I was dragging my feet, because if I did
Mm.
that stuff, that was basically me kind of diving in the pool. It's like, oh, you're doing this podcast to build this, it's like, do I really want to do this? And again, I
Yeah.
stressed what I did. But her thing was, okay, the be, do, have paradigm. You're familiar with that?
No, I'm not. But I have another
I know you got to
call
go any
coming up
soon,
here.
but adds on
So
to,
yeah.
again,
Hmm.
be the person you want to be in the future. Do the things the future vision of yourself is, and eventually you will be that. You'll have everything you envision.
Mm.
But her next step to that, instead of just be, do, have, is be, do, share. Be, do, have,
Mm.
share. And I was
I
like,
like it.
yeah, because you get, that's to me the most wonderful way of talking about abundance. You get to the
Hmm.
point, yeah, I've got more than enough. I can share and stuff.
Yeah.
And what you're sharing is, sure, it could be external, physical, tangible things, but it's,
Hmm.
you're sharing this peace, love, understanding, this creativity with those that you're in community with. So anyway,
Hmm.
heard you loud and clear. I'll let you go. Thank you so much. When did you want to meet again
Absolutely.
next?
I will drop, in fact, I'll do it right now in Messenger. I'll drop the calendar link so you can book the next call with me. Just find a time that works with you.
Okay.
So, and this, I'm going to use, it's labeled as a vodcast, but basically what I was thinking is once we get the foundations, maybe after this first call where we're kind of putting this stuff together, um, if you feel like it would be useful, maybe we can stream one of our sessions as we're talking about, hey, this is what we're putting together. This is kind of the language that I feel like I'm doing, but I would love to open it up for feedback. Like, does this feel like it's on point with the identity that this group is really moving towards? So, like, in terms of communicating the value of membership, communicating the value of like this tribe, are we on the right page? Like, are we co-creating this with this community? So if that sounds good, I mean, I'm a big fan of like, you know, you don't pull your pants all the way down unless you're with the right people. So it's like, let's have a session before we kind of, so we sort of know what we're doing and we have the big ideas in place, and
Yeah.
then we'll kind of pitch it out to the bigger community. Say, hey, this is what we're doing. Here's where you can specifically help. Is like, does this
Yeah.
give us feedback? Does this feel like it's right? If not, give us some suggestions in these areas.
Yep,
And
makes
that
perfect
way,
sense.
it's
And it sounds to me and feels to me like this would be the appropriate point also to debut the visual aid we're going to create.
mhm,
As we're doing this vodcast or vocast or however it's
yeah,
pronounced. And so it's just like going, by the way, this is what we're envisioning. Okay.
hmm,
This is a community. This is, again, the first 100 people we're collaborating on creating what the vision is,
yeah,
which means you have some input into this. And
hmm,
this is flexible. This is
hmm,
evergreen, but we got to start
yeah,
somewhere. I can't just be throwing out, it's like, hey, you want to be part of my club? This is
hmm,
what the vision is in a little more detail. And if
yeah.
this is resonating with you, let's then schedule a time like you just did with me. We can do one-on-ones and all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm. I'm excited. Well,
I
thanks for your
am
time, Randy.
I'm so grateful. Thanks for hanging in there with me while I've been going through all this.
Hey, it's such a pleasure to support you. I believe in what you're doing, and I consider it a privilege to, stand on my side of the aisle and support you from my side with what I can do. So
Right. Well,
happy
and
to
then
do
we'll
it.
see what next level is for you as well. But I certainly want everybody that I'm collaborating with on this is to direct people to the services that they're doing as well too. So very much with this type of thing, it's like, well, you saw how Aaron helped me create this, and you can see it came out okay,
Mm.
better than okay. If you'd like to have him help you, or if you know somebody who can benefit from what Aaron did here, guess what? He can help you. So anyway, it's 7 past the hour. I got to let you go.
All right.
Thank you so much. I scheduled it for
Absolutely.
tomorrow. See you.